Okay, now this is very, bro. My friends will probably be listening to me right now, like, bro, he's talking about this again, like, because they get sick of me talking about this. But look,
What is going on? Welcome to Rue's Room. Moving into the nitty gritty of the artists and creatives in the Australian scene. I am Rue, aka the Culture Black Kid, and today we have Chandler Jewels. He is an African Australian artist and producer located in Sydney. You may have heard some of his production with artists such as ONEFOUR and BY's, just to name a small few. Dropped his EP Spring towards the end of 2023 and has a new single coming out on the 23rd of February called Where You At Right Now. Chandler, how are you doing? Like for real, for real. How are you doing?
doing amazing, bro. Everything's feeling great, bro. 2024, it started off pretty good. Even 2023, it ended off amazing. And yeah, bro, I'm on a high right now. I can't even lie.
For sure, for sure. As I mentioned just before we started recording, 2024 just feels like that year, like that everyone's just locking in. Has there been anyone in particular that you've especially felt like you've locked in with so far to kick off this year?
Bro, you know what? At the beginning of this year, I just moved into this crib, six bedroom house, and all my
Mm,
boys, we're all musicians, we're all creatives, and we've just been locked in heavy, Site Zero,
mm-hmm,
Koda Khan, Ashways, just to name a few.
for
But
sure.
me, and Tommy Gun as well have been locked in heavy. Yeah, we just been going hard. 1-4 boys locked in with them
Of
every
course.
week. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Some heavy hitters. Well, I'm excited. I'm always excited to hear what you got coming out. We met actually when we were working on ketamine. We both added our touches to that song, and I'm super keen of how it turned out.
That
Um,
was an amazing song too, bro. Man, like that whole process of making that song, bro. Everyone killed it, bro.
for
Like
sure.
it was amazing. It was fun. It was really fun.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I think again, also watching you work was one of those times where I'm like, yo, I've never seen anyone's fingers move that fast on FL Studio. I was like, what is going on right now? You were like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like,
Last year was I had to level up with engineering and producing,
mm,
working with producers like Sid Malik, 99 Hertz, all those guys, them
oh,
machines, bro. So, I think I learned a lot from them and just how I produce, engineer, everything like that. Yeah.
definitely, definitely. And it's shows when you surround yourself with people who are really pushing you and you take notes from them, they take notes from you, and you like, uplift each other to be like, yo, let's just be the best at what we do
Exactly.
as much as possible to again make the scene even better. So that's dope. That's really dope. Um, as I mentioned in my intro, this isn't a typical interview. I'm not going to ask you the cliche. So tell me about your latest release
Yeah, yeah,
type
yeah, yeah.
thing. We go get a bit deeper into it, get to know you, get to know your artistry a bit more. And my first question to you is, what percentage of yourself do you think your circle really knows about you?
You know what? I think with me myself, I'm a very, very open guy, especially with my circle, my
Mm,
brothers, and I take pride with being able to help out with whether it be production, songwriting, and a lot of that. I appreciate my brothers a lot.
mm,
Um, and I'm a very open guy. I really like just being able to, like I said before, help out with everything. But um, especially over the past 2 years, or actually the past year, I've been able to connect with producers all across Australia a lot more, and I think one thing that they've been able to notice, that they've been able to tell me, is how open I am, and how good I am at just being able to get everyone in that creative mindset, being able to just get the creative juices flowing. I think that's one thing about my work ethic. I've been told from a lot of people that I bring that type of energy to the room.
mm.
So I take a lot of pride of that. But yeah, man, I really, really pride myself. I give myself a lot of credit for just being able to do that with no matter who it is. Because as an engineer, I think it's important to just be able to match people's energy in the room. Just being able to dive deep into their personality, just so that the workflow is a lot easier. So yeah, me and my boys, they know who I am. I know who they are. A lot of love goes a long way, bro.
For sure. For sure. And, I feel like the common person would look at, as a producer and just be like, oh yeah, you just sit there, you make beats and, the
Mm,
artist does their thing. And then the engineer just sits there and he just
yeah,
turns the knobs up and down. But the artistry that goes into the collaboration of
yeah.
music is ridiculous.
There's a
Where
lot to it.
like I'm not sure if you do this. I'm sure you do, as you just mentioned. But like when you start working with a new artist, it's not even about making anything in like the first
Nah,
30 to an hour, could be even a few hours. It's
never,
about building that
never.
chemistry.
It's never about that. And you know what? I think the best relationships I've built, um, the relationships that I hold close to my heart, have always started where we'll tee up a session and we sit there,
Mm,
bro. We don't even get work done sometimes in the first session. It's
yeah.
just straight chop it up because I think as a producer or an artist or an engineer, I think that's the most important part in terms of the first impression and building a relationship. And all my closest relationships have started like that, and it's something that it's really important as a producer, as an engineer, as an artist to just get to know the person who you're working with before you even start working with them,
Yeah.
because then I've experienced this before as well, where it's like you get there and it's like, all right, load up a beat, and it's like nothing said, and it's like the chemistry isn't there, but it's important to get that good chemistry with people when you're, especially when you're collaborating with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like I was saying before, that's something that um I'm happily and gratefully I'm able to bring to the table every single time I work with an artist or a producer.
For sure. For sure. And definitely something that's appreciated from artists when they work with a producer, such as yourself or, anyone who's similar. Um,
Yeah.
and my follow-up question to that is how much of actually you didn't give me a percentage number. You kind of went straight in. Just to bring it back before I ask the second question, can
Yeah.
you give a percentage, like a number to that? How much do you think your circle really knows about you?
Oh, I, sometimes I find myself to be too open. I think there's levels to it, definitely. I think the boys that I live with,
Mhm.
they know me in and out.
100.
I can I can confidently say that they know me
Sure.
95 to almost 100%. But
Yeah.
as far as a lot of other people that I work with that are still close, but
Mhm.
I'd say I still am very open. I'd say about 80% of the time that
Yeah, solid.
80% I'd say is a good number.
No, for sure. For sure. And my follow-up question to that is how much of that percentage do you think you've shared in your music so far?
All of it. I
All of
think
it. Mm.
I think you have to go above and beyond. Sorry, you have to go above and beyond when it comes to being vulnerable in your music. I think, especially writing, um, it brings out that authenticity. So I think a lot of people experience who I am as a person, even just through my music,
Yeah.
just listening to my music. I think it's you have to be vulnerable in that state. You have to be able to tap into your emotions and really talk about what's going on in your life, in order for you to have that authentic feeling and have that genuine feeling. A lot of the time you'll hear music and the feeling isn't there, and the production might be there, the writing might be there, but it's just something missing. And I think you just have to tap into that side of yourself, in order to get that feeling. So I try to expose myself in my music. There's some
Yeah.
shit that I wouldn't even say to my friends. I'll say on the mic happily, bro.
Sure.
Because it's super super important.
100%. 100%. Well, hopefully through this interview we get to know a bit more of that percentage,
100%.
and a bit more of how your mind works when you
Yeah.
go into that stuff. So we're going to take it back to primary school days, do a little bit
Yeah.
of show and tell. And if you don't have the items that you were going to show and tell, that's cool. At least we hopefully get a dope story to go along with it. We've already
Yeah.
started off great. I'm super
Yeah.
excited for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's kick it off. My first question to you is, what is something that represents who you are as a person?
Oh man. I'm gonna take it back to the primary school days too, you know,
Mm,
because as cliche of an answer as this is, I
mhm,
think my entire life has been built around music. And
mm,
so I'm gonna take it back. I was in year year five,
mhm.
probably 9 years old, or however old you are when you're five. And
Sounds about right.
I started picking up, I started listening to Skrillex.
Mm,
And through that, I was like, I want to learn how to produce, you know.
mm,
And so I think I've sacrificed a lot in life, you know. I think through through the years since I was 9 years old, 9 years old, I've had this insane obsession with music.
mm.
Um, Day in, day out, just working on production, just working on beats, working on. I used to do a lot of EDM, so I used to learn a lot about mixing and shit as well. Um, can I can I curse on here?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Um, but I think I think to answer that, music has always been who I am. Without music, I really don't know who I am.
Yeah,
And I think that is it is the absolute it's just my pure form.
mm,
So I think when there's something that represents me, whether it be music production, writing, you know, even just being in the room
mm.
to create the energy, to create the vibe, I feel like I am music, and therefore music is me. Um, and you know, a lot of the time, I just feel that so deeply. You know, I don't think there's anything else in this world that I love more. You know, and my friends, my family, past relationships, future relationships, they'll all say the exact same
Mm.
thing. You know, like that is the pure form of who I am.
For sure. For sure. Couple follow-ups to that. Uh, I think my first one is, as I said, you're African Australian. I've actually never asked this. What is your African background? I'm curious.
So that is from Seattle,
Mm.
and I think he did one of those the what do you spit into like
Uh, I know what you're talking about. Ancestry.
yeah,
Ancestry.com. Yeah,
ancestry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we are he is 75% West African.
Mm.
I don't want to butcher that. I don't
Yeah.
want to butcher that. You know what? I
He's
can
African American?
yeah, he's African American. So he's
Okay.
from Seattle. He's from
Yeah.
Seattle,
That would
but
make sense because yeah.
yeah. And he actually came to Australia in the 80s, 90s to play in the NBL. He played for Illawarra
Right.
Hawks
Ah, okay.
at the time. So and then yeah.
Okay. Fair
That's
enough.
how the African side came over to Australia, and then through that he met my mom. And
Sure.
yeah.
Right. Okay. The reason I asked that is because, obviously music is such a rich part of African history.
Mhm.
And I'm interested how much your even just your parents in general, like really encouraged the musical side of you when you were younger.
Both my parents love music. My dad is actually a singer,
Mm,
an amazing singer actually. You know, he's sung at weddings, funerals, and you know, he's got an amazing voice for someone that doesn't, you know, practice. He's just got a naturally gifted voice. But even my dad grew up in that in that environment. All my uncles are jazz musicians. They're in a band called Broham.
mm,
Um, and you know, I remember when I went over there, they would teach me drums, learning how to do drums, and just being in an environment. But music has always been a part of my family. My sister sings. I'm actually somewhere along the line third cousins with Diana Ross
oh
somehow.
wow. Crazy. Crazy.
So you know, like there's strong musical background in my dad's family. Um, or music has always been a part of their thing as jazz musicians and
Mhm.
classical singers, and then mom always put me on to, you know, the Australian classics, the 80s music, like
Yeah.
Electric Blue, like, you know, like
Mm,
just
of
like
course.
AC/DC. She
Yeah,
always
yeah,
used to
yeah,
play a
yeah.
lot of stuff, the Beatles. So music. Oh, and I but I can't leave this part out. But Bob Marley was a huge part of my life. You know, I think Bob Marley is one of my biggest inspirations, bro. I
Mm.
love his music so much, bro. It gives me a feeling like no other music has ever given me, like, and I I'm gonna get him tatted on my shoulder one day,
For sure.
Bob Marley is a huge influence to me. So, but
Definitely.
my whole life, it's I've been a musical person since day one. So
Okay.
my I can thank my family a lot for that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I can relate to a lot of the things you've said in throughout this whole question, especially, being so in love with music. I started learning violin when I was in kindergarten, then
Mm,
trumpet in year three, started
yeah,
introduced to hip hop in like year seven, and it's kind of just all carried and
yeah,
combined with, friends introducing me to artists like J. Cole, and then, listening to
yeah,
classical music, and my dad listened to, AC/DCs and the Bob Marleys as well, Michael
yeah,
Jackson, all that stuff. So, it's really interesting, how all those combinations come together and create the person who you are now, and those experiences you take and pass on to, the individuals who are around you. And, even though hip hop is probably your main genre that you work on, that you write and that you produce,
yeah,
like, it's always dope when you get to show those other sides of you that's
yeah.
like, yo, I love reggae. Yo, I've listened to like classic rock, pub rock before, and I can rock with this music.
100%.
So
I think it's important too, because like, even though I do work a lot on hip hop, there are influences that I take from, psychedelic rock and
yeah.
reggae and even folk music, like
Hmm.
just old soul music and everything that my dad used to play, 70s disco, Afro disco, and like,
Hmm.
I think it's all important because you can learn so much and be inspired super heavily off of
Sure.
off of those kind of influences. So I think growing up, they were definitely a big part of my journey.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Dope journey so far. It's only
100.
still being written.
Yeah,
All right, number two. What is the last or favorite sentimental gift that you received from someone?
that's crazy. I don't I'm not big on like receiving gifts. I haven't received a whole lot of gifts. I think um I'm one of those people that just kind of like I remember the biggest thing that always stuck with me. I'm so grateful for my parents for this. But I would have been like 15, maybe even younger, just maybe 15, 16. They got me an analog synth called the Roland System 1.
Mm.
And I've got that synth today, but like it's like this green Roland synth, and it works as MIDI as well. And
Hmm.
I think I've done a lot of experimenting, and that's where my love for synths and analog came from. And
Yeah.
so through that, I think through the whole years, it's just been my biggest. It's been one of my prized possessions. But I love that synth so much, bro. Without my parents doing that for me, I don't think I would have tapped into that whole
Hmm.
inside that I became so obsessed with.
For sure. For sure. That reminds me of what PJ from Breakfast Road was talking about when I interviewed them. And he was saying like sometimes when because he's got a couple of synths as well. Sometimes he can work faster on the synths, like the physical synths, than the VSTs.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like you're exactly the same?
Yeah, 100%. When you can just turn and just like, and it feels it's just a lot more fun, like
Mm.
um just having that real life element to just be able to create. And it also has a
Yeah.
different sound. Like digital VSTs get it pretty close. Don't get me wrong. Like
Mhm.
I love using VSTs, digital plugins and whatnot, but to just have a analog sitting there and just to play around with everything
Yeah,
yourself, it has more of it's a feeling. You can't really replicate that. Like
for
it's
sure.
it's it's always better. I always love using synths. And I remember I was in one of my favorite synths. It's the Juno 106.
Mm.
And that has such a nice sound to it, warm sound to it.
Mhm.
I used it at Forbes in the Universal building in
Mhm.
Sydney. So yeah, I think my love for synths definitely grew since then. And it's funny because I remember I was 15 and and my parents were buying me all this equipment. They bought me like some I can't remember what mic it was. They bought me a mic and these speakers, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get you a synth as well." And then I remember my dad called me and was like, "I got some bad news for you, buddy. Like, you know, they didn't have it. This is now." I was sitting in my room. I was all sad. I was like, "No, you know, whatever." I look out the window. I see him try to sneak it in the house, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "What's going on right now?" No, yeah, it was. I love that. Love that.
Nah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. I love that. And my final thing before we move on
Yep.
is if a little homie comes up to you and says, uh, yo, I really want to get a piece of equipment. What's your starter suggestion? It could be a synth, it could be just a MIDI in general. Like, what would you suggest?
I think definitely I love how my Yamaha HS8 sound. They my ears are very tuned to those speakers. You can get HS5s if you have a smaller setup at home, like a smaller room, or you don't want to be as loud. But
Yeah.
HS8's always the go. I did start off with Rocket 5s, KRK Rocket 5s, but HS8s, I love the sound of them. Just get yourself a good interface. I'm using a Evo 8 right now. It's a Here's a smaller version of it, but this is the Evo. I can't unplug my Evo 8, otherwise everything will shut down. This is a smaller version of it, Evo 4.
Right.
I can't remember who it's by. It's Audion, but this interface is good. The Evo 8 comes with 2 headphone jacks, so you don't need a splitter. But these are really nice. I don't even think you need any driving software. You can download a driver for it, but if you have a MacBook, or I'm pretty sure even on Windows you don't need a driver. You just plug that straight in, it works. And an NT1A if you're looking to record, just a basic beginner mic. You know, it's not the greatest, but I'm still using one right now and it gets me by. So like,
For sure.
Yeah, definitely those are like kind of the 3 main things that I love using to this day, even as like just a basic setup. There's a lot more you can get, but you know, if I were to recommend my little brother, you know, I'd start off with these things. You know, I definitely recommend those tools for sure.
For sure. Yeah, no. Always good to have that starter home studio setup.
Oh, and I just want to make this very clear as well.
Yes.
You do not. I'm not saying you need this equipment, but like, you don't need the higher flashy things to make things work. As long as you're just dedicated, you know. Like I used to make music on a JBL 4 speaker, you know, and that got me by. And as long as you love it and you're just putting in the work, that's all that matters, you know. Like it's just the love and the dedication towards it. So like, you know, go ahead, get yourself a Focusrite, you know, or whatever mic may be. Like as long as if you have that interest in starting, that is the most important thing. Absolutely.
For sure. I think one of my favorite things is that Joji still produces in GarageBand.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
The fact that he's making that quality music in GarageBand is ridiculous. But
there's no rules to it. There's 0 rules to it. Kids nowadays are recording music on BandLab on their phone. So like, you know, that's just all you need to get your foot in the door, bro. And that's free. You can get headphones and just record in your mic. And I can respect that a lot because I came from a place like that. So, you know, I think as long as you just want to start, that's the most important thing.
100%. All right, let's keep it moving. And it's, you know, interesting we're talking about physical items because maybe this might relate to that as well. But question 3, what is the first album that you ever bought or received?
I wish I had this because I lost it. Oh, no, I didn't lost it. It's with my sister because I told her to look after it while I was in my moving process a year ago or so. I always knew the first album, vinyl record I would buy was always going to be Astroworld by Travis Scott because that album is one of my Bibles. It's a monumental moment for me where it changed my whole perspective on music. and it's funny because it's such a like new age like synths and like crazy mixing and everything like that. But for
100%.
me, that because I came from a background of EDM, those kind of textures is what I was drawn to. So to have a hip hop album coming from a EDM producer going into hip hop,
Mm,
that was a monumental moment for me. That and Damn by Kendrick Lamar.
mm,
Because a lot of people don't know this. I'm a fairly like new, when I say hip hop, I mean like trap. I always listened to hip hop growing up, but
yeah.
I was introduced to this kind of new sound through Astro World and then by
Mm,
Kendrick Lamar. So I think I'll always love my Astro World vinyl record I have at home. That vinyl record it's yeah, a monumental moment for me as an artist as well. I even to this day I still make a lot of music inspired by Astro World. So,
mm.
but that's safe in my system's room back way back home.
No, for sure. For sure. Do you remember where you were the first time you heard Astro World?
Oh, see, it was on the charts, so I was hearing it everywhere.
Mm,
But I remember the moment I was like, I'm gonna listen to this was I I always used to at my mom's crib, I always used to like I kept a skateboard with me, and on afternoons I come home from school, I would get my skateboard, and just skate around my area in
mm,
Morisset, Currumbong. It's around Lake Macquarie,
mhm.
on the way to Newcastle, and I used
Yeah.
to just skate around that area, and I had my Bose noise canceling headphones. They were great. I remember I was skating down. I was just listening. It got to like Rip Screw right after Sicko Mode, and I was like,
Mhm.
bro, what is this album? I was like, this. I've never heard music like this. I've never ever heard music like this. And
Mhm.
I remember walking up the hill. I was on my skateboard. I was walking up, and I was just listening to it. I was just like, this is gonna change my life, and it did.
Mhm.
So yeah, man, I love that album so much, man. It's such a crazy moment in my life, bro. But yeah, that album was definitely always going to be one of my first albums. But I've bought a few since then. I've been gifted. I've been some Tame Impala albums. I've been
Mm.
gifted. And I love collecting old vinyl records to
Yeah,
sample
same.
anyway. So I got a stash of vinyl records at my mom's crib too.
Yeah, dope. Dope.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting that you say, that was such a pivotal moment for you as well. Because again, I'm pretty similar. I was studying an exchange in North Carolina, when Astroworld first dropped, and this is around the time when I've been listening to hip hop for a minute as well. But I was still very ignorant with my. I was still very, oh, hip hop is this.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't hip hop. And then I think Astroworld came out, and being especially that and the people that I was around, I was
yeah,
like, I get it.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I understand now.
yeah,
It makes so much sense. And then from there, like even I visited Houston a couple of years later, and I'm like, yo, the energy of playing
yeah,
Travis
yeah,
in
yeah,
Houston. I went to a Rockets game and Travis was at the game, and I'm like,
yeah.
what is happening right now? So
Crazy, bro.
yeah,
And I think Astroworld actually birthed very early on my love for albums as well,
mhm,
because I've always been um coming into hip hop, I've always been an album artist or a project artist. I
yeah,
love making projects. I love having like an aesthetic theme,
mhm,
having everything blend together. Even with my projects, there's transitioning and just everything like that. But
mhm,
Astro World was one of those albums that just I was like, wow, not only is each song just so well produced, written, mixed, but like this whole project just cohesively works. And I think
yeah,
from that point on, after listening to, I think Astro World was one of the first times I front to back listened to an album cohesively as well. So I mean, besides them, and I've had albums that I've listened to my whole life, kind of like shuffled through. Like besides Bob Marley, I think
mhm.
Astro World, besides the Exodus by Bob Marley, I think Astro World was, yeah. Astro was one of my first albums that I listened to front to back and was like, wow, I get this. This is what I want to do with my music. This is like, if I'm going to do hip hop, if I'm going to go into this world of making music outside of EDM,
Yeah.
this is how I want to do it. And so
Sure.
to this day, it's been a big thing for me. So, bro, like when I get that album back, it's going to be hanging on my wall in my room. You know, alongside with Damn and everything else. But Astro World is for sure one of those albums for me. Yeah.
Definitely. And one more thing. How close to Astro World is Utopia?
In terms of my rating?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is very, bro, my friends will probably be listening to me right now. Like, bro, he's talking about this again. Like, because they get sick of me talking about this. But look, maybe I was hoping for Astro World too, and I get what Travis was doing with Utopia. I totally get it, because a lot of them, if you actually go back and listen to his project Al Feral, which was one of his first mixtapes, right next to Days Before Rodeo,
yeah,
I understood it a lot more what Utopia was, and I love the production, I love the writing, I love Travis's rapping ability on this project. Yeah. Utopia was still a great album, you know, but bro, like for me, Astroworld was a 10 out of 10. It's hard to get like, you know, 10 out of 10. I was listening to Utopia. I can listen to Astroworld front to back and I'll know every song. If I were to try and think of the just even the songs front to back on Utopia, I'd struggle a little bit more. There were a lot less memorable moments, but for me, I don't know. I'd put Astroworld at 10. I'd put Utopia at maybe like production-wise 9, but like as a whole, 7.5. You know, that's it was fair. A good album. It was a good album. It was a good album, but you know, sure. I think 5 years is a long time to have my expectation that high, especially on Astroworld. So, and look, you know, you never know. I might a year from now, 2 years from now, listen to it back and be like, you know what, I'll bump this up to an 8.5. But
yeah,
Astroworld, it's just you know, it was great though. I loved it because it's very, very Al Feral, and he took it back to those days where he was producing a lot of his own records. I can understand what he was doing. So in terms of that, yeah, it was a great album. But in terms of my personal opinion, I love melody. I love just the way that Astroworld was mixed, that future sonic to it. And I think that's what a lot of my music is. Don Toliver, on the other hand, is killing. I love what Don Toliver is doing, and I'm just bringing up Don Toliver because he's a part of Cactus Jack. But I think is in terms of where I wanted Travis to go, Don Toliver is doing that, you know. So I really appreciate what Don's doing right now.
For sure.
For sure.
All right, let's keep moving. Number 4, what's a moment from one of your favorite gigs, and what's a moment from one of your favorite sessions?
Ooh. Moment from one of my favorite gigs. It's probably my last gig. My sister, I love my sister so much. She came through and she's such a supportive person in my life. We're super similar. And I love my sister. And, you know, it was the first time she saw me perform. I dedicated a lot of songs to her. Just seeing her, or just knowing that she's experiencing the show that I put together, it was special to me. You know, I really, I love it when I can do things for my family. And I even shouted her out. I was like, you know, my sister's here, and I love that I can just be that older sibling, because she's a very creative person as well. She loves singing, she's into dancing, and she's really talented at dancing. She's gonna make a living off it for sure. She's a what do you call it, 3-in-1 type thing, a person. She's
like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, exactly. She's a Swiss Army knife, 100%. And so I think recently, and I say like when I say recently, I mean like maybe a week or 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was very special for me to be able to you know show up and show out for her. Like,
Hmm.
I love my sister.
For
So
sure.
that will forever, I'll, forever love that moment there. Um, and I think just another thing is just having people know my lyrics as well. It was at that
Of
same gig. A
course.
lot of people were singing along to it. It just felt crazy. I was like, wow, like,
Mhm.
someone that's very new to performing. And I've done, I could probably count maybe the amount of times on my hands, how many, probably a bit more than that actually.
Okay.
But I'm still pretty new to it. So
I
I
get you.
think having an audience that is there for you is pretty cool.
For sure.
That performance was amazing.
Hmm.
And favorite session, man. I'm in so many that like
They all blend.
they all blend, but I remember when I was working on my first mixtape, Insomnia. That was a very kind of monumental era or moment for me, because I
Mm.
used to work out of a studio in Chippendale right next to the Lord Gladstone. It was my own little studio space,
Mhm.
and this band DMAs, they
Mhm.
they were under the same management company as I was at the time. Um, and they were like, here's a spare space. And so like I spent a lot of time in there working on and perfecting my craft. I think during that period of time, about like 20 early to mid late 2022
Mhm.
was a huge learning curve for me. And I think I just remember it so well because the aesthetic, it was all like, it felt like a bando. It felt like just
Yeah.
band in like, and even though it was like not gross, but it was like, even though it was run down, it
Mhm.
just, it had those early days, like, it felt
The
it,
grit, the
it,
yeah,
it
yeah,
had
yeah,
that
yeah.
grit, it had that ghetto feeling to it. So like
Mhm.
I think those moments, I always think back to those moments. But alongside with that as well, man, there's so many. I could talk about it all day. But making Spring was good. I made the entirety of Spring at DY, my boy Jordy Young's studio. He had
Mm.
a he had a complex on top of a building. It was kind of like a penthouse complex thing where he set up his studio space. Amazing spot there. I made that whole project there. I leveled up as an artist, and my boys leveled up
Mhm.
heavy during that period of time. But I think, one thing I won't forget is my first few sessions with ONEFOUR. That
Mhm.
was crazy. We made Freedom of Speech, which is out
Mhm.
now, their most recent thing. And I think I remember the first session that I had with all of them,
Mhm.
or JMs and Spenny and stuff,
Mhm.
we were working on Freedom of Speech. Is crazy because I was
Yeah.
just, wow, where did, like, I've known ONEFOUR like since 2019, and
Yeah.
it's crazy that like I just wouldn't have seen myself in a position where I could just freely work with them like that. And it was good. It's good now. Like, we've built a great relationship. I love those boys. So
For sure.
it's good.
For sure. I could sit forever and just, let you just rattle off a whole bunch of sessions, but
Yeah, I can't pick one, but like if I were to if I, those were kind of like the three main. Working with Tommy Gunn is always fun, bro. I love
Mhm.
working with Tommy Gunn as well. All those boys, they're like, the chemistry is just, I love
For
it.
sure. For sure. Shout to the crew for
Yeah,
sure.
bro. Yeah.
All right, number 5. What is something that represents your dreams and aspirations within your field?
Something that represents my dreams and aspirations. I've never been a very, I've never, I think I've never been a very materialistic guy when it comes to making music.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is I'm not in it for those things, and
Yeah.
I think um one thing that um I've always chased my entire life, as controversial as this may seem at this very moment, but
Yes.
Kanye is a very um him as an executive producer,
Mm.
just him to be able to walk into any studio session and everyone's there for him, in a sense that like he knows what he wants. He can bring in these producers. He whatever he says goes. I think his opinion, his creative vision,
Mhm.
matters to a lot of people. So I think
Sure.
my dream has always my dream aspirations has always been to just be that guy in the room,
Yeah.
to have the most important say when it comes to creative direction. And I love collaborating. I don't want to come across as arrogant and cocky and egotistical in that sense, but
Mhm.
I think one thing that I've always chased since I started producing was, what sound can I make? What genre can I bend into my own style? What is
Mm.
Chandler Jewels? What can I bring to the table? So I think being a producer, being an artist, and having my opinion really, really stand out has been the ultimate goal, has been the ultimate dream, just to walk into a room and the energy changes straight away. And I'm already starting to feel that. And
Mm.
Australia has so much potential, but I think for me personally, I'm ready to take this global.
100%.
I've worked with a lot of artists, and you know I'm glad that's kind of been the vision my whole life, because I'm now only just having people starting to tell me like, bro, your
Mm.
energy it changes the whole dynamic of what's going on in the studio right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm it's almost overwhelming. It's starting to like really set in right now. But I just love music, bro. There is nothing in this world that I love more. That like it is like it's music is my bitch, bro. I can't even lie, bro. Music is my bitch. I can't lie. That like because everything about it, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier in the interview, I said, bro, like it is. I am music, and music is
Mhm.
me. So
For sure.
I want to make one of the biggest impacts that this world can see. And I love artists that like Kanye because of that reason. The way his mind works in terms of his vision.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, bro. Whatever he says, boom, boom, boom. And that's not just, like I said, it's not just like a thing where it's like, oh, what I say and what I see goes.
Mhm.
That's in terms of a collaborative process as well.
Mhm.
I love getting people in, being like, bro, this guy's crazy on drums. Hop on this, like
Yeah.
I'm talking about the whole vision. Like
Mhm.
I just want to be able to paint the picture um, to its max potential, and I think that's the most important thing for me, for sure, for sure. I've never really been doing music for the materialistic things, and that they may
It
come,
comes.
and they
Yeah.
will come,
Yeah.
but that's not the most important thing for me.
For sure. For sure. Um, yeah, no, like I've always said that, there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. And, especially when you step into a room and like you said, the vibe changes, it's like, all right, people know that I'm in charge. It's not because I'm about to be like, again, Kanye is a dramatic example, obviously, especially with just the antics and whatnot. But
Exactly,
if you use someone like Jay-Z, even as an example,
exactly,
like he steps in and everyone's like, oh shit, the CEO
exactly,
fucking Hovers here. Like
exactly.
shut down. What he says goes.
That's
So
exactly, yeah.
yeah,
That's why
no,
I think I'm I'm definitely prepping myself to be able to have that energy. I'm glad people are starting to realize that now. Even I was working with when J1 came over
mhm,
from the UK.
yeah.
I was put into a session with him, and after session, he's like, bro, I've never worked with anyone like this. He's like, bro,
Mm,
you've got something. And so, I think when people from an international aspect of things can say that alongside with everyone that I've already been working with,
yeah.
it's kind of like, all right, you know what? Maybe this isn't a mistake. Maybe this isn't by chance. Maybe I've actually got something here that can really change how music is even listened to, how music is even perceived by a lot of the just mass population. You know, I want to have that impact. I want to be able to. It's a lot to say change the world, but I truly want to change shit. You know, and I think you know we're starting off strong. You know, it's good.
For sure. For sure. You know, well, hopefully if people weren't tapped in, they tapped in now for sure.
100%.
All right. I got one more question, but before we get into that, let's play a game because I love to play games.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm gonna get you to do is build your ultimate collab track.
Oh.
So because you're an artist and a producer, I'm gonna let you choose whether you want to be the artist or the producer. I'll start with that before I explain a little bit more.
I'll be the producer. Oh no. Oh wait. I don't know. That's
Because you
such
can't
a
be
hard
both.
question. You know what? I'll be the producer.
Okay.
I'll be the producer.
Okay, you're the producer, so that means you can't be the artist. So what you are going to do is you're going to choose 4 artists, all local, and a videographer to shoot the video.
Ooh. Okay. Um. Wow. There's so much. There's so many good artists here, man. Um. Tommy Gunn for sure.
Mm-hmm.
JMs.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, insane rapper, bro. Like,
Mm.
not even rapper. He's an incredible artist. He could do everything. Wow. Tommy Gunn, M's. Ah, this is crazy. um, this is actually a lot harder than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
You'll be like, oh
Tommy
yeah,
Gunn,
yeah.
M's. Sahil's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
One more artist there.
One more artist.
Oh. Wow. I can't even. Tommy Gunn, M's, Sahil, and I'll say, bro, there's a guy right on the tip of my tongue right now. Kwame's a crazy rapper.
Mm.
Even and Wise.
I was about to say, do you just want to put Hola BBGB on?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
But
Videographer. I love. There's so many good videographers in Sydney, in Australia, but one that's on the come up right now, and one that I truly believe has the potential to change shit, is Sorry Not Allowed, bro. He, and he's my boy, but that's why I know, and how I know that this guy, his brain, the way he works with his simplicity, but his creative direction as well. He just has so much potential and flavor and just aesthetic, bro. Like we're actually doing a lot right now to release some shit. But I already know he's about to give it a year's time, bro. People really want to lock in with this guy, and they're already starting to like. People are starting to catch on, you know. So
for sure.
SNA, Sorry Not Allowed for sure.
Bet. So just to run it through, one more. You're producing. We got JMs, we got Tommy Gunn, we got Sahil. I'm going to say, do you want Wise or Kwame? Which one of them?
Oh, we'll go Wise.
We'll go Wise.
Yeah.
And Sorry Not Allowed on the video. What's happening in this video?
Oof. That's what I'm saying, bro. This guy, expect some like Kendrick or Baby Keem type video, like real artistic. Like this guy,
love that,
has that vision. I think like some of my favorite videos, Family Ties, or even like some things that Kendrick's label PG Lang has, like this
like Hillbillies type stuff.
Yeah, some type stuff like that. Like Sorry's all over that, bro.
Okay, bet. Well, I'm curious to see if that happens. For sure. All right, we got one more question before we get out of here. What is a personal moment that stands out to you that has impacted your music in a certain way?
Personal moment that has stand out to me, that has impacted me. Yeah. Well, I'd say besides obviously what we'll talk about, Astro World, one thing that has really kind of changed the way I work is there's a few things, but connecting with just understanding the importance of quality and quantity. And there's a whole debate like whether you need one of the other or like one, but very important to have both. And I think watching some of the younger artists out of Australia coming up right now, like Tommy and Sahil, and back when they were doing their single run, you could see how important it was to their growth and for their audience. And I think one thing that I'm starting to tap into now is mixing that quality with that quantity. You know, I've been producing and making music for about 10, 11 years. And so I've had time to get that quality up, you know. I feel I can confidently say that we know what we're doing when it comes to making a great record, whether it's experimental for an album or just a single or whatever it may be. You know, we can walk out a week with 10 demos even, you know, because we just can produce, get it done in an hour, boom, you know, we have an amazing track. So I think one thing that not only is important to me, but I feel like everyone in the scene in Australia should really tap into is perfecting your craft, finding out who you are as a person, who you want to be individually as an artist, and running with it. We have no time to just sit on some of this amazing art we've got, bro. Like, the only way we can really get this community falling in love with our art is to just give it to them. We have to give it to them. There's no time to slack. If you got ideas, man, put those ideas out. The other day, I made a demo. It took me like an hour, 2 hours. I told my boy, sorry, not allowed to come over. He shot a clip that goes for about a minute. And we just put it out there. Just getting stuff like that. Just having that like flexibility to just do that is so 100%. Important for each individual artist. You know, it's important for our artistry, and just having that consistency. Super important to build in building a brand. And you can find yourself doing that as well. You can really start to realize like, oh wow, this is who I am, this is who I'm becoming, this is, you know, these are my ideas, these are our ideas. Like, let's just get it out there. Let's, you know, and yeah, one thing I'm grateful for is that I've been able to perfect that quality. So, you know, I can pump that quality out in time to get the quantity going. So I think that in 2024, that is the main focus for sure. There is going to be so much music coming out this year. It's not even funny. And songs that I've produced, songs that are mine, songs that I'm featured on. It's going to be a hell of a year. 2024 is going to be a prosperous year. But I think that is one of the most important things for sure. For sure. And again, I've said it a number of times. I'm super excited. I'm keen to hear all the releases, production, your artistry. Your latest single is coming out next week as of when this drops. And yeah, I think that's a great place to leave it on and give the floor to you to, you know, again, do your own promo run and let the people know what else is coming out or is out. Sweet. Yeah. So where you at right now? Out on the 23rd is the next Friday? Yes. 23rd? So this will be the 16th. Yep. 23rd. It will be out on 23rd of February. That is I produced it with my boy Jordy Young. We've been doing this together for a long time now, 5 years. So expect that to come out. We've also got this Friday, or the 16th. I believe is when Shutdown, Tommy Gunn featuring myself will be out as well. And you know, weeks after, I'm thinking of dropping videos weekly with my boy Sorry Not Allowed and his page SN4. Yeah, man, we expect a lot of drops from ONEFOUR, produced by me as well. Maybe some solo stuff with JMs as well. So yeah, dope. Yeah, man, we've got a lot. We're getting busy, man. Me and my boys Ash just dropped some music. That's going crazy, bro. We're excited to just get shit done, you know, like Been working on heaps of projects. I got a EP coming out with a producer friend of mine, Jeek.
Mm.
Still in the works. That's I'll let you know what that is later. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff in the works, man. We're keeping busy, bro. This is our life. This is what we love doing. So we're just thankful that we're able to do that. But expect to see the name Chandler Jewels around a lot more. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And thank you for taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to come on my
Of
show.
course.
I appreciate it. Once again, Chandler Jewels. I am Brew, aka the Culture Black Kid. I'll catch you next time here on Brews Room. Peace.